What's up guys, it's Bastian here coming at you with another video, and today we are analyzing the fusion cards in Dragon Ball CCG. Now we only ever gotten 5, and basically 3 of those were in set 4. Majinbu Fuse, Vegeta and Gotenks, and set 5 we got Gojira and Goku. So let's start with Gotenks. Now, Gotenks is the poster child of fusion. Um, def- well, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks is one of my favorite characters in Dragon Ball Z, and this card is a good card. Now, it only became a good card when Set 5 introduced the turn 2 cost Goten and Trunks because they search each other out. And basically they are very strong on their own even without fusing into Gotenks. If you don't want to fuse into Gotenks, actually those two guys together are a power of 8, and they can have another sort of support warrior in there to make that team, easily. Let's say with a Boo, they can be a team of 12, for example. But Gotenks is coming down with a Thresh 1, and Thresh 1 for a turn 5 warrior that doesn't cost you a deployment is very good. In fact, it's so good that it is possible to build a whole deck around Gotenks. It's not an easy one, and you might want to consider to dip a little bit into running adventure showdowns rather than normal showdowns, which is also difficult deck design to build. I haven't really been successful in all my years of YouTubing for Dragon Ball CCG to build a consistent enough adventure deck, but that's a challenge for me. And sooner or later there will be one. I've gone there a lot the past couple of years, not really managed to come out with anything useful, but Gotenks will allow you to basically spend that 1 chi. It has to be a super chi, and it has to be your action phase, so when you're attacking. And Gotenks can either say, no, I'm not allowing my opponents to play Adventure Showdown, in case you do come up versus a deck like that. Now, coming up against a deck like that can be super dangerous, by the way, because all your pumps, all your extremely potent high attack value lead warriors will be basically reduced back down to vanillas, because all that's going to matter is what's the turn cost on the top of your deck. And if you come up against a well-built, strong adventure showdown deck, then they will be able to manipulate the top of their deck and you will not. So Gotenks is a very, 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 very good card in saying, okay, I'm not going to allow you to screw with me. Or the opposite, Gotenks is coming down to say, I'm going to be adventure showdowning you, and you can't do anything about it. And at Thresh 1, particularly on a card like this, that can very easily get an outstanding victory through adventure showdown. It's super, super, super dangerous. But on the surface, it's a 7-0. It's a really good lead warrior. Anyway. Our next one is Vegeta. Vegeta is a bit of a difficult one to analyze, particularly in the shadow of Gojira. But one of my favorite deck is to get Vegeta into play with Patara Fusion, ideally turn 3, and just keep him in play because he can't be affected by techniques that have a turn cost of 6 or lower. And just by default, that effect makes this card extremely difficult to deal with. It's almost like if you guys play Magic, it's almost like Shroud. Because yes, he can't be using your techniques that have a turn cost of 6 or lower, but nor will your opponent be able to deal with this guy. None of the set 5 Kamehameha, for example. Vegeta's techniques, however, they do a really really nasty job with Vegeta. Both Big Bang and even Final Flash, they will deal 1 damage to this guy for sure. But besides that, he has Thresh 1, which is really good. He's got toughness, he's got super heals, so very difficult to get rid of this guy. And also his stats. The 8-5 is really good because he's super good both as a lead warrior and also as a support warrior. That 5 support is really, really, really good. So good. And even injured, as he's a 6-0, still very good as a lead warrior. The art is really cool. I'm a, yes, I'm a bit upset that it's not Super Saiyan, but also probably a good thing. But yeah, Vegito is not capable of playing Big Bang Attack, and is not capable of playing Final Flash either. And he's also not capable of playing Super Kamehameha, because yes, it is a Goku card, it is a Vegito card, but it's not a Super Saiyan. And that probably was a safety valve that Bandai Japan built into this card when they designed it. Just for clarity, sets 1 to 4 were designed by Bandai Japan, set 5 was taken over by Bandai America, and that's probably the reason why set 5 is so overpowered as well. But Vegito, I think it's a very good card. It's a lot more flexible than what he may look like on the surface. Playable through Potara Fusion, and he gets to stay in play as well. So it's a good investment with that card. I mean, the card has its own, deck type. So what more needs to be said? Very good card. Majinbu. Majinbu is an amazing card again. Easier to play than Vegito because, first of all, he doesn't require 2 different colored cheese. He just needs 2 green ones, and he's got Plunder, he's got Toughness, and he's an 8-4. 8-4, very good. He gets injured. He's only a 4-0, which is not very good. He will become on par with Gotenks, but Gotenks is turn 5. Of course, Majin Buu is turn 7. But he gets the job done when he comes into play. He moves one of your opponent's warriors on the top of their owner's deck. If that is a fusion warrior, that goes basically leaves play, goes out of play. So that's it. Then it's a straight up removal. But because it doesn't have a turn cost cap, it can remove anything from play. You fuse into this guy, it will be worthwhile doing that fusing because you can remove the most pesky warrior your opponent has, whether he's been sitting on that warrior, just doing stuff with it from the deployment zone, not necessarily sending it out for attacks, but more often than not, you're obviously going to go after one of their big lead warriors or maybe a big support warrior to deal with. However, I would remind you that in set 4, both Gotenks and Majin Buu was a lot more difficult to bring into play. Interestingly, set 5 got cards for all these 3. We got a new Vegeta, we got a new Goku, both turn 5. We've got a new Goten, we got a new Trunks, and we got a new Kid Buu, and we got a new Majin Buu. So all these guys got support in set 5. To get Majin Buu out in set 4, you would have had to play the set 3 Fat Buu and the set 4 Majin Buu, the skinny Majin Buu. The set 4 skinny Majin Buu is actually a very underrated card. I might do a segment on that card separately because it is actually quite good. In the set with the set 5 lens on, these cards all became better with the set 5 warriors. They all got warriors to get them out of play easier, much easier. Moving on to set 5 then, both of the fusion cards that came out in set 5 are bonkers. Goku, to be able to bring a fusion warrior down in turn 4 is already amazing. We got a Hercule as well in set 5 that makes this card very easily playable. The Goku we got in set 5 is just a really good supporter. It's a 0-3-0-2. You can also get it back into your hand and deploy something else. It basically allows you to have a 2 warrior deployment in a consecutive turn if you haven't fused into Goku. And he's got Fierce 2 and Super Heal on turn 4. And he's a Goku card on turn 4. Jesus Christ, that is so important, guys. You would not believe how good it is to have a turn 4 Goku card. If you're playing the turn 0 Goku and you're playing the set 5 Kamehameha, to be able to fuse into Goku turn 4, and now you can use your Kamehameha on turn 4 exactly like how it would be a Big Bang attack. And a Big Bang attack can only be used, best case scenario, with a set 5 Vegeta, you can use it in turn 5. But it basically allows you to have that 2 damage output from turn 4 onwards with the set 5 Kamehameha. And that makes Goku so good, super good. And his effect is bonkers too. So you basically pay 1 chi as the attacker strategy. So yes, you are telling your opponent, you're telegraphing what you're going to do. But you pay 1 chi, you reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a warrior, uh, he gets plus X plus 0, which equals the warrior's turn cost. If it's a technique, he gets plus 0 plus X, which equals the technique's turn cost. If it's an event, cannot be sent out to battle. Now, when I run a Goku kind of setup, when I have the turn 3 Hercule in the deck, I try to build it with usually 1, maybe 2 events, but more often than not, you can build a deck with 0 events. Just put in 3 Kamehamehas. And then it doesn't matter what you flip with Goku, whether he gets the plus X support of a technique or the plus X lead battle value of a warrior, he's going to be going out attacking and he's going to do some massive damage. It's really good card, just allowing you to have a really good, really playable turn 4 Goku is the biggest thing about Goku. And even as injured, he's still a 3/3, so he still is a really good support warrior, even if he's injured. Fierce is a valid effect, so even if he gets injured, he still can get in for a 2 Fierce, which again is just amazing. Really good. And then, of course, everybody's favorite, Gojira. Gojira is the strongest fusion warrior. I wouldn't be able to tell you guys which one's the best because it is so it's so situational. If my opponent has a Gojira out in play, I would say the best fusion would be a Majinbu. If my opponent has already got a Majinbu out in play, probably the best one would be a Gojira. But if I want to get an early advantage, then Goku might be the best. Gotenks, I would say probably not in the top 3. And Vegeta's only in the top 3 if you build around this guy. So I'd say this is probably the top 3 for me. I can tell you that. This is my top 3. But anyway, Gojira is the fixed Vegeta. So everything that Bandai Japan didn't do to Vegeta, Bandai America designed it into Gojira. He's got the double chi symbol. He's just a little bit more powerful on lead as the lead warrior because he's a 9/4. But even injured, he's still an 8/0. So immediately I'm looking at him. His stats as a lead warrior are better than Vegeto's. But that also means Vegeto's even more so a very good support. His chi cost is dual chi, not like Vegeto's. When Vegeta was released, dual chi wasn't a thing. So you have to play the 1 super, 1 alien, whereas for Gojira it doesn't matter. Here he's got the same stuff in terms of super heal, toughness, and thrash. So with special abilities, he's on par with Vegeta. But when he comes into play, you may search your planet for a technique card and put it into play. So not only do you bring this guy down, you might search your deck for a Super Dragon Fist or a Kamehameha or a Big Bang attack, because this guy obviously again is both a Goku and a Vegeta card. A Vegeta card, so can use all the specific requirements. And he's a Super Saiyan, so he can use the Big Bang attack. He can use the Final Flash. He can use the Super Kamehameha. He has access to all the special Goku or special Vegeta requirement cards because he's a Super Saiyan. When he's got a Dragon Ball, whenever he becomes the user of a technique card during the action step, he will also give out an extra damage to target opposing warrior. Doesn't have to be the target of the technique, just any guy, just any opposing warrior. So you might be like, well, okay, you got a Gaia which has toughness, you got a Gaia that doesn't have toughness. I'm going to use a set 5 Kamehameha, spend the 3 Chi. It's a Goku, so he's going to deal 1 damage plus another 1 damage to a warrior with 7 or lower turn cost, basically everything. So that will be 2 damage to a guy, maybe immediately remove it, and if your opponent has like a guy with toughness, well, just ping that extra 1 damage off to that guy with toughness. So this Gojira clears tables, wins games. Once you get to turn 7 and you put down a Gojira, basically you win the game, basically. He can use a powerful heritage and just go from a 9-4 to a 14-4, but again, he used the technique, so you can ping a damage. It's just absolutely crazy, bonkers. By far the most powerful card in the game in terms of dealing out damage, just does everything. And that's why he's so liked. And he's got very special art as well. None of the other, if you look at you look at Vegito, for example, Vegito's background is full on gold, which is very pretty. But actually, Gogira's the only card where the background, the gold background, has got this massive blue aura coming out of Gojira, but it really gives you that feel that, yes, this is a super slash alien card. You don't have this kind of design in any other card. It just makes it look just super cool. So this is it, guys. These are the 5 fusion warriors that we have access to. Your fusion deck can have up to 15 fusion warrior cards. On a tournament setting, I would have run a playset of all of these, just in case you need it. There are a couple of decks where you can literally get to fuse into all of these. All you need is the turn 0 Goku, the turn 5 Vegeta from set 5, the Gotenks and the Goten and the Trunks from set 5, the Hercule from set 5, and of course Boo and Kid Boo from set 5. So if you want to run like a set 5 heavy setup, you can actually build a deck where you can run all 5 of these cards and just pick and choose whatever you need. Not the most spearheaded deck, but it's very multifunctional. So this is about it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this little analysis about the fusion cards, and I'll see you next time. Peace.